guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are here with another Spooktober Mukbang. So today we have some samyang noodles. These are just like the normal ones. They're not like spicy or anything like that. And I don't have that much food today because I am going to eat dinner in like 3 or 4 hours. So I just have a pack of the samyang noodles and then some of the nuclear fried rice that you can get at H Mart now. And also I am using Stephanie Sue's utensils. I have her chopsticks and then also her spoon, and they say bis on them. It's so cute. Oh my god, I'm so excited to use these. I'm excited to try this rice. So yeah, let's get right in. I am starving. It's like 5 o'clock and I haven't ate yet. So this is gonna be really good. Yup, these noodles are so good. So, today is another story of a crime that happened on Halloween night. Happened in 2004. So, it was a house with 3 different roommates. I was going to say 2. 3 different roommates. So we had Lauren, Leslie, and Adriane. Good. I think this is gonna stain the spoon. I'm pretty sure it is. Well, it was cute while it lasted. So, 3 roommates, Halloween night. It was really good. It came in packs, a big pack. We only had 2 packs in the bag, so I went ahead and just cooked 1 pack itself. Pretty good amount. Is it probably? You can honestly make it for 2, like as a side dish, like split it up in half. But we're gonna make it for 1 today. So around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, they decide to go to bed. They're done handing out candy. Now, Lauren's room is like, I think, in the not in the basement, but it's like a lower level bedroom, while Leslie and Adriane's rooms are upstairs. A few hours later, get comfortable real quick. A few hours later, Lauren hears some some commotion, and then she hears a scream. And then her dog starts barking. So then she gets worried because then once her dog starts barking, she's like, okay, something's happening. So she goes and peeks outside as she's hearing these screams, like outside in the house, and she sees this guy, or like she hears like steps. So she runs out the back door and just hides in the backyard. And as she's doing that, this guy crawls back out of their window and just books it. Now Lauren waits a few minutes to make sure it's clear and that she's not in danger. And she goes inside and finds a pretty gruesome finding. She goes upstairs and she first finds Leslie stabbed to death. And then she finds Adriane also stabbed to death. However, Adriane is still kind of alive. So Lauren hurries up, calls 911, and she I think she briefly leaves the house just in case the killer is gonna come back. So she goes to safety. And on the 911 calls are pretty scary, and sad. You can just hear the panic in her voice. So the officers arrive. They question her. They try to save Adriane, but on the way to the hospital in the ambulance, she does pass away. And this is in Napa Valley, California. So they're not used to things like this. So police are freaking out. The town's freaking out. Like the next day once the news gets out, because everyone assumes it must be like a serial killer. Which would probably be a good assumption too. Well, I don't know, because like at the time too, the Golden State Killer still wasn't caught yet, so that was in the same state. But that type of murder doesn't really match the Golden State Killer's like type of vibe, so, or it kind of does, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. So they're worried that there's a serial killer. They take DNA samples. So usually, I watched the documentary and then I read a bunch of different articles about this. In the forensic files episode, they were saying that most average cases only have about 1 to 6 samples of evidence and DNA. This one had over 70 with DNA on it. So it takes a minute, but they finally find out that, what was it? I believe it was the blood splatter on the walls. One of the DNA matches didn't match the girls. So they're like, okay, cool, we got a hit. They run it through the system, don't find anything. So he's never been arrested before. Or her. Could be a her, you never know, never know. Women kill too. It's not just men. And these chopsticks grab really well. Wow. Anyway. So, also at the scene, I find a bunch of cigarettes outside the window. So they assume that the killer was building up courage, smoking a lot of cigarettes, watching them and waiting for them to go to bed. Now it's unclear if it was a targeted attack or not, because they don't know if he went in there with the intention to kill everyone and that Lauren got away, or that maybe he was trying to kill Leslie, but then Adriane heard and then came to rescue her. Because also, that was another thing too. They were like, he must have sustained injuries because the way that Adriane tried to fight him. So she clawed at him and whatnot and tried to save her friend, but it obviously just didn't work out that way. And they also tested the cigarettes. And they find out that the DNA of the blood and the cigarettes match. And then they also find out what kind of cigarettes they are, and they were the Camel Turkish Gold cigarettes. Which at the time, apparently those were newer, back in 2004, and they weren't sold everywhere. So they talked to the gas stations that were, and all of them said that they didn't sell many. The police interview everyone, even Lauren too, just to make sure that she wasn't in on it, because you never know. Someone hitting dead ends. So they ask her, once they finally have the stuff back, the DNA back, and they're like, do you know anyone who smokes cigarettes? We need you to make a list of everyone in y'all's lives that you know that smokes cigarettes. There is one that pops up. She goes, we have a friend named Lily, and they've even actually came over to the house a few times before too. So Eric knows, that's his name. Eric knows where they live. Eric is Lily's boyfriend, on and off boyfriend's name. But Eric, my friend's boyfriend / fiance, smokes cigarettes, but he's a really nice guy and he would never do anything like that. so they won't think anything of it. Let's go over to Lily and Eric's Halloween night. Let's talk about that real quick. So, it's making me sniffly. So Lily and Eric both attended a Halloween party that night. They arrived separately and left separately. At the time, she had just called off their engagement because I guess they were fighting a lot and whatnot, and they were just having their own issues. So she called off the wedding. Eric was really upset about this. Like, very upset. So they talk about it at the Halloween party. I guess Eric went there hoping that he would be able to get her back, and that didn't happen, so he was very upset. So they get into this huge fight at this Halloween party in front of everyone. And they leave. Now Lily goes home. Eric, though, has different plans. Eric went to their house, to Leslie, Lauren, and Adriane's house, and stood out there for a few hours, waiting for them to go to bed, smoking a bunch of cigarettes. Went in there and killed them. How did he get caught? The way that he got caught kind of makes me feel like he is kind of remorseful, but actually no, he's not. The way that he got caught is, once the police realized the cigarettes and whatnot, and they were even able to like identify like with the DNA that he was Caucasian, he had green eyes or blue eyes, like they were able to determine all that, they just didn't know who. I mean, that was pretty broad. So they go on the news to try and see if anyone could figure out who it is. And Eric sees that on the news. I guess he feels like guilt or something because he instantly tells his wife, or his like, he tells his wife now wife, Lily, hey, I was the one who murdered your best friends. He tells her family. And it's really weird because they all like supported him. Like they were like, okay, like let's go down to the police station. So they like went to the police station, he turned himself in, and like Lily was asked like, how does she feel? And she was like, well, I always love him. Now the parents of Leslie and Adriane feel very differently. Especially because, so, like I said earlier, they were engaged, had issues, so then she broke off the engagement. Well, the day after the murders were reported and on the news, Lily calls Eric a mess, just crying, bawling, needing him. So he comes over to console her. Little does she know the person that is holding her while she's crying is the one who caused all this pain. And so he's like consoling her, helps her with the memorial that they hold for these girls. He manages to win her heart back, and they end up getting married. But wait, there's more. One of the moms of the girl, she was asked to speak at their wedding. So she spoke at their wedding. But little did she know, the man she was talking so highly of at that wedding was the one who killed her daughter. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. So the mom nowadays, she feels some type of way about it, which I understand. I would too. I would not feel the way that Lily feels about him. So he turns himself in to avoid the death penalty. He pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. So he pleaded guilty to first-degree murder to avoid the death penalty. Now, it sucks because in this whole plea deal that he did, so he was sentenced to life with no parole. Part of his deal was that in accepting the death penalty, he's not allowed to talk about the case to anyone else that's like not his like attorney or lawyer. So that means that documentary people cannot interview him because he's not allowed to speak on it, or his like whole thing will be like revoked or whatever. So no one really knows the reasoning, because even when he was questioned, he turned himself in willingly, told him the whole story of like how he waited outside, what he did, like who he killed first and whatever. And he could not give a reason for why, and he could not tell them where the murder weapon was. He doesn't remember where he put it or anything like that. So the theories that people have, I agree with. So people believe that one of the girls Lily worked with, and that's how they all knew each other. And they believe that their friendship was threatening to Eric, and that maybe even to like, you know how you tell your girlfriends things and like, oh, like you should leave him, or like, oh, you should stay or whatever. People think that like they were telling her like, hey, you need to get out of this like relationship, like it's toxic, it's dangerous and whatnot, and that he was scared that she was gonna listen to them, and so then he killed her best friends so that he could have her all to himself, which I agree with. I think that's probably what happened. Yeah, because there were like a few other suspects too. Like there was a handyman who had came in that day of the murder. He was like cleared. Yeah, that's pretty much what most people think. I agree with that. I think he probably was jealous of like the friendship that she had with her friends. It was kind of like, you know that like how they're like, if no one can have you, I mean, if I can't have you, then no one can have you. But he kind of like took it to a whole different level. He was like, I just want you and no one else can have you, so I'm gonna kill all your loved ones. What do y'all think of this case? Leave it down below. This was a really good meal, and I'm glad I ate because I have to go grocery shopping and buy stuff for dinner, and I'm like stuffed. So I'm happy that I am, because if not, I probably would buy everything in the whole store. So yeah, tomorrow I am filming the last Spooktober Mukbang, which is on the Candyman. So I'm so excited for that one. I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Be sure to like, comment down below. I love interacting with you guys, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.